This week's homework. You ever have that one childhood friend that changed your whole life? Mine was death. And not the Dirk, I'm selectively ignoring you death. Actually, death. She was the only one that didn't complain about my singing. Growing up, I had chronic ear infections. It's not a personality trait, it's a defining feature. Most kids had Tamagotchis. I had Tylenol in a heating pad. I'd come to school like, "Hi, I'm Laura. My ears are filled with pus and rage. Want trade stickers?" So between me half hearing the world through muffled chaos, my deaf friend, fully vibing with her own silent disco, we made quite a pair. We love Grease. Nothing says childhood like screaming, "You're the one that I want," at the top of your lungs. While feeling the bass through the floorboards, we were like a couple of hormonal subwoofers. We didn't actually know all the words. I couldn't hear them. She couldn't hear them. But we felt like the beat. It, it was prophecy. And that's how you know you're good friends. When neither one of you knows what you're yelling, but you're yelling together. Meanwhile, my mom's in the other room, like, why is the deaf kid quieter than my own child? And I'm like, but mom, I got pressure in my ears and a dream in my heart. We did everything together. She taught me some sign language. I taught her how to fake a French braid. We invented our own girl gang, the Eardrum Rebels. Honestly, I didn't realize until much later she was part of the deaf culture, and I was part of, why does that kid always smell like polysporin culture? But it worked. People underestimate deaf kids. They assume they can't feel rhythm, and yet I watched her nail hand jive better than anyone else. It was like her whole body spoke music, and I was just a clapping offbeat white PTA mom. We went to some remembrance days together. You know, that 2 minutes of silence. That is the only time I'm not humming. And let me tell you, when you've had a lifetime of ear infections, 2 minutes of silence feels like a spa day for your soul. I asked her once what silence felt like. She looked at me, smiled, and signed. Depend on who's talking. Honestly, she taught me more about listening than anyone ever has who has working ears. And I'd go back there again. The infections, the grease melodies, the sign language misfires, just to be the loudest duo at the silent disco. Because when your best friend doesn't hear the world the way the others do, you learn connections are beats, not decibels. Also, I can't hear out my left ear. So if I know you in public, I'm not rude, just trauma. Or maybe it's Tuesday. So the reason that we became friends, our dads were in the Navy together. They were the don't ask, don't tell anything unless it's in Morse code Navy. They were stationed together, probably yelling at each other over the engine noise. And yet somehow that led to us yelling summer lovin' into a hairbrush like a karaoke ghost. Military families are weird. You grow up with a mix of disciplines, dysfunction, and free access to bootleg DVDs. But our friendship was military issue too. Standard, no nonsense, loyal for life. Don't mess with a Navy brat and a deaf girl with strong opinions. That's special ops level social tactics. We could silently judge you from across the room and then sign back to each other with facial expressions that could kill. Her dad was a quiet kind because silent service, right? No talking, no sound. tides, darkness, and the occasional nuclear missile. Honestly, it wasn't different from my ear canal during an ear infection. But military life teaches you things. Silence is golden. Unless you're in a submarine, that's classified. Don't speak unless spoken to, which is super convenient if you're deaf, by the way. Nobody expects you to salute and shout, hey, hey, when you could just give them a look. I remember the day we met. It was a Tuesday. She tapped me on the arm. Classic deaf move. I turned around and she signed hi. I responded by handing her a crayon because that's how I made friends. Awkward, silent, and definitely with the art supplies. But it worked. We didn't need to hear each other. We had a system. She signed, I read lips. We both judged people telepathically because we were the Navy SEALs of silence. And being from a military family meant we got silence, not just the deaf kind. The dad's not talking about what happened in deployment kind, or the unspoken trauma in a duffel bag that's never unpacked. So when Remembrance Day came this time, everyone did their 2 minute silence, and I was like, 2 minutes? That's cute. We've been living in the Cold War awkward tension for our whole lives. People think deaf culture is about sign language. It's more than that. It's facial expressions, body language, clear communication. Everything the Navy was aggressively not doing at home. Our dads came back. We came out of a deep appreciations for feeling the bass through the floor and the ability to dodge conversations with just a single raise of an eyebrow. Because in deaf culture, eye contact is everything. And trust me, when you lock eyes on a deaf girl, you're either going to fall in love or start confessing your sins. So, yeah, our friendship was born from sonar silence and dads who never unpacked their feelings. We made noises where there was none. We sang Grease. We hand jived. We made jokes about sonar and sign language. And together we learned silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a kind of power, a kind of truth, and sometimes a really effective way to win an argument. That's my time. I'm Laura Briggs.